All right, everyone, welcome to part 2 of the SMMA full training series. Now, again, this is part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, make sure to check out this link up here in the top right-hand corner and start there first, which will lead into this video right here. Now, in this video, we're going to cover the rest of everything about starting your marketing agency that we didn't cover in part 1. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, everybody, welcome back. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell in the bottom right-hand corner so you can get updated with all of our other training videos and content that we produce every single week here on my channel. Oh, and P.S., if you're thinking about getting the full-on training course, then make sure to stay tuned to the end of this video where I have a special offer for you that you're going to love. We are going to talk about on-page and off-page SEO, the classic versions of SEO, also referred to as technical SEO, or you might hear me refer to it as technical SEO and a bunch of other people as well. But we want to talk about how to actually make your web pages rank by performing acts on the actual website and planning for things that actually go on your web pages to make it optimized to perform better, so that way search engines are able to read it easier, and so that they're able to index your content and really understand what it's about, so that way when someone does a search online, they're able to deliver that content and it actually relates to what that person is searching for, meaning that it's going to increase your SEO for that specific page, article content, your site, whatever. So let's talk about what you need to do and what you need to understand. But the first thing I want to mention, guys, is understanding the website that you're working with. Okay, so the biggest thing you need to understand is this a new site or an established site? And even if it is established, let's say it's a year old or 2 years old, right? That still doesn't have a lot of time on the internet. Now, they are probably ranking for certain keywords already, but when it comes to more competitive keywords. So for example, attorney in Atlanta is going to be super competitive, right? But if I were to say criminal attorney in Atlanta under $1,000, there might only be a few criminal attorneys in the Atlanta area that could offer their services for that rate, right? So that would be an easier keyword phrase to rank for. So that's really what you're looking at, is you're trying to determine what keywords should I use throughout the site, and how should I set up the structure of my site with content, links, headers, all kinds of different aspects, so that way I'm able to target the right kinds of keywords for whether, if I'm a new business or if I'm a business that's, again, established. So how do we actually plan for building our website or for getting the keywords onto our website? You might remember, if you've seen the website training video that we've uploaded into the mini course, that we talked about creating a sitemap. And really, this is kind of where you want to start with regards to your SEO planning as well, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at each page that we have on the website. We're going to associate a primary keyword with that page, and then we're going to pick out a bunch of LSI keywords or synonym keywords that could be related to that article as well. And we'll figure out the content structure, how we actually want to build the pages themselves. Now, outside of building the actual structure and main pages of the site, the other ways that you can build more traffic to your site and target more keywords is by creating more content, blog content. Now, not every business is going to need consistent blog content created for them, right? Some businesses just need base content created for their site so they can target more keywords, but it's not for every business. A content marketing plan, where we're running blogs doesn't really work the best for a criminal attorney, right? Especially one that only focuses on a small local area where, not everybody in that area is going to be interested in reading that blog, meaning they won't get enough traffic to it, thus they won't show up in search results, right? So we want to target keywords that are actually going to matter. So how do we determine? Well, again, the biggest thing is understanding, okay, if we have a new website, we want to target keywords with a lower keyword difficulty. If we have an established site, we're okay to target keywords with a higher keyword difficulty. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's go over to our tool, SERPstat. I recommend getting this, and again, the link will be probably right below this video if you're wanting to check it out. Let's just say we'll do social media marketing because it's already up in here, and I know there's already search traffic for it. For this example, we can breeze right through it. So what I'm looking at here is if I'm an established website, or if I'm an established or a brand new website, really, it doesn't matter. I want to look at keyword difficulty, competition, and search volume for my keywords that I'm trying to select. Okay, so if I go to my sitemap and I know I have a services page on social media marketing, well, we want to try and target social media marketing as a keyword in that page. Let's see if I can even get more specific, and let's see what social media marketing Atlanta looks like. Okay, so we have no data as far as difficulty, which means it's probably not terribly difficult. We have about a 50 searches per month and a competition of 67 out of 100. The higher to 100, the more competitive it is. And the good thing to know is these two areas right here are about paid advertising. So people are paying for this keyword. As far as organic data, it doesn't seem like too many companies are trying to target this information. And it doesn't seem like there's any competitors in ads. There's not enough data just in this general area for us to be able to look at, whether competitors are actually spending, and there's not enough people actually creating content about this specific keyword in our area. So we might actually be able to create our sales page for social media marketing Atlanta and create maybe an article that could go along with that we could promote to Atlanta-based business owners, drive a ton of traffic to that page, and then start ranking for social media marketing in Atlanta. Right? So that would be our strategy there as far as our agency website page. But that's the exact same strategy that you would want to take for a client that you would have, right? So we would actually probably take this social media marketing Atlanta, and I would go to my webpage here. We got social media marketing Atlanta, social media marketing is the top banner. Let's see, we would probably include the word Atlanta in the content of this page itself. Let me see what we have as far as where are we at? This bar. Okay. So we have social media where are we at? Social media marketing in Atlanta is the primary keyword we're targeting here. That's good. And then if we go over, we have social media marketing Atlanta, social media marketing companies. So cool. We have our structure built as far as what keywords we want to target. Now we know what we're going to target for this specific page. Now that we have that in play, we're going to avoid using social media marketing in Atlanta as a primary keyword on any of the other pages. And so that's really all you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out what keywords you want to place on what pages. If you're looking at content, as far as creating blog content, that's the exact same strategy you're actually going to use there as well. Okay? So not complicated at all. The keys here are, let me do a more broad keyword. We'll just do social media marketing Atlanta so I can show you guys what we're trying to do here, or social media marketing. What we have here, and I guess let me start with search volume, guys. For search volume, you're going to want, obviously, enough volume in a keyword, right? What I recommend is if you're working with local, small, and medium-sized businesses and you're trying to target a keyword, you want at least 50 to 100 searches per primary search term, right? So you're getting at least 50 to 100 searches per primary search term. And if you can find better, obviously you want more search volume. The more search volume means the more potential customers you can possibly get. Next thing we want to look at is competition. We want to see if people are spending on ad spend for the specific keyword, just to know if we're competing against people spending on ads. And if people are actually targeting the keyword. If people are targeting that keyword in an ad spend, it probably means that it's driving some conversion and it's valuable. And if it has a higher cost per click than the industry average, that means it's a very competitive keyword and that people are definitely getting leads from that keyword. The last thing we want to look at is keyword difficulty. And this is actually going to tell you how difficult it's going to be to rank for this specific keyword with regards to organic search. So I want to zoom in a little bit and show you guys what this says. Basically, guys, what you have here is 0 to 20 is easy, 21 to 40 is medium difficulty, 41 to 60 is difficult, and 61 to 100 is very difficult. So if I only wanted to target the keyword social media marketing, so that way when someone goes to Google and types in the keywords social media marketing, it's actually going to be very difficult. Why? Because that is an internationally searched word. It's not just searched here in Georgia or Atlanta. It's searched across every state in the US. It's searched across pretty much every country that exists right now, right? So it's going to be super difficult, and that's what this score tells us. So again, if you're a newer website with not a ton of authority and you don't have any content pages that are ranking on, let's just say, the first page, you're going to want to start with the 0 to 20 range, move your way up into the 21 to 40 range as you start to build more traffic to your site, get more conversions on your site. That's what's going to tell Google, okay, we need to rank this page. It's clearly important to the audience in this local market. So guys, as far as creating content is concerned, that's really all you have to do to start picking out the strategy for your keyword targeting. So if you guys do want to create content for a website, I strongly recommend you looking into a concept called topic clusters. Okay, and what this is going to do is help you plan out the structure to your blog articles, so that way you're not just going out and creating random blog content with no vision, no goal, right? So with a topic cluster, the goal really is to rank for your primary keyword that means the most to driving traffic and sales for your business. So let's look at a gym membership or a personal trainer, something like that. If they wanted to drive more people to their workout routine or to their gym or to their personal fitness training class, they would start out with something like this. They would create a main primary article called workout routines. This is your pillar article right here. Okay, this is your primary article. It's the primary search term that someone in your industry or interested in your products or services might type into Google first. Because why? They probably want to start working out and they don't know any routines. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of other articles that basically are the anchors to your pillar content. And basically what they do is they are sub pieces or sub content of your primary content. You can see right here, workout routines to lose fat, workout routines to build lean muscle, workout routines without weights, with dumbbells at home, with routines to get abs. All of these are specific things with a deeper search intent or long tail keywords to go along with workout routines. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, well, yeah, Jordan, we understand. We want to create one primary article and then take sub-content or long-tail keywords, add them onto our primary keyword and create topics about that. But the strategy, really where the strategy comes in or where you're going to get the most benefit from using this approach is understanding how to actually build your linking structure. So workout routines is going to be the primary links. What we're actually going to do is, well, I'll show you what the link will look like. Let me get up a WordPad. So let's just say your thing is gym.com, right? Let me zoom in so you guys can see. All right, so if it's gym.com, then we have to do workout routines, right? Because this is going to be our or actually what it would be is, let me make this smaller. Okay. All right, workout routines. Actually, what it would be first is blog, right? Because we're going to our blog, / workout routines. Then / let's just say our first article is workout routines to get abs. Workout routines get abs. So here's the difference between what most people would do and what we're doing with a topic cluster. Most people would create an article and it would be this right here, gym.com/blog/workout routines. Then they would go and they'd try to create another blog article and it would be /workout routines get abs. And this would be completely separate from this article, right? But if you do it the way we're showing you on top, this article is driving all of that search traffic SEO juice through one URL versus doing it through several. So where most people mess up again is instead of doing it like you see above, they would do it like you see on the bottom two links. They're creating two links for two articles that are completely separate. In the top example, we're combining them into essentially one URL, which is driving all of that traffic and SEO juice through one URL versus several, meaning you're much more likely to rank for not only your primary article, but also your sub-content as well. And what we're going to do is inside of the actual content itself, we'll actually have a link inside of this blog article that links out to this, and we'll have a link inside of this blog article that links back to this, and vice versa for all of these articles that we create. That way, Google knows that these are all tied together, and what we're doing is if somebody starts off because they look up how to lose fat or workout routines to lose fat, they start on this article, but they see a link to see, hey, you know, we mentioned something in the blog article like we actually have 15 other articles about workout routines that you can do either at home or with dumbbells or to increase strength. Go check that out. And on the words go check that out is a link that attaches back to workout routines. In the workout routines article, you have a subsection that mentions, we have all of these 15 different types of workout routines that you could possibly do. And then you do a brief description of we have workout routines about fat that teach you how to eat right and blah, 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 right? Or how to eat right and what exercises to do to lose fat specifically. And that, lose fat specifically would actually be linked, again, back to this article right here where it's a full explanation of workout routines to lose fat. Sorry, I kind of got lost there for a second. I thought I was talking about the vice versa. All right, but you guys get what I'm saying. You're linking back to each other so that way each article has a way to get to the top article or to the lower tiered article, and search engines are able to tell that people are engaging with that one link instead of having 15 different links. So now that you understand a little bit about the strategy, let's go and look at some of the actual technical stuff that you're going to want to do on a site, just so you guys know where this stuff is located. But it's not complicated. We talked earlier about the sitemap where we were talking about our primary keyword, our title tags right here, like our title tag here, our LSI keywords. How are we going to incorporate all of this, our headings, H1s, H2s, H3s, right? How are we going to incorporate all of this into an article? Well, what we actually do is if we go to a web developer like WordPress, right? This is one of our articles, how to run an effective marketing campaign. And what we do is we're going to look at, let's start with the title. The title is right here. Very simple. How to run an effective marketing campaign. So what this does is it receives the title tag. If I actually open this page in a web browser, I can hover over this little part right here, and it's going to say how to run an effective marketing campaign. So if I actually type that in, find that article real quick just so you guys can see. If we hover up top, how to run an effective marketing campaign, full guide. Right? So all that does is it tells Google what the title of the article is. Now, what's next? Well, we have our headings and subheadings. The point of headings and subheadings, you can see right here, this is an H2. The only one that ever receives the H1 is the title. So our H2 is going to start right here. Basically, it's telling Google that we have our title, which is how to run effective marketing campaigns. And then this is our subheading of that, which is planning, how to run your effective marketing campaign. Or we could even just take it like this and do planning, right? But I'm going to leave it as is since it's already indexed a specific way. So an H2 is just a subheading. What this does though, it tells Google how to organize the content inside of its index. So what we're doing is we're telling Google, okay, here's the heading, here's the title, here's the first heading underneath that title, and you can see right here, if we go even further down, we have an H2 right here, the 5 types of marketing campaigns. And what we can see here is we actually have an H3. So what does this tell us? Well, an H2 is another subheading that's not inside or related to the initial H2 heading that we had, right? So this is a completely different subheading from the first one. Then this is obviously the 5 parts of marketing, or 5 parts for the 5 types of marketing campaigns. So these are going to receive subheadings for H2, which would be our next one, which is H3, right? And it tells Google, again, the subheadings tell Google how to organize the page inside of its index, so that way it knows how to deliver content to viewers. All right, so headings and subheadings, titles, super easy. Next is tags. So if we go over here, we actually have tags. How to run a marketing campaign, how to run an effective marketing campaign, marketing campaigns, right? These are all of our LSI or our synonym keywords for a specific piece of content. And you'll do this for every single page that you have, whether it's content or a sales page. You have alt text. So this image right here has an alt text associated with it. What an alt text does is 2 things. Number 1, alt text was created also to help people who are blind. It tells people what an image is since they can't see it. But also you have to understand that Google does not know what images are. It doesn't have a way to read this image and tell us what this graphic is. So what we do as marketers is tell Google what the image is, so that way it's able to index it and show it to its users when people are looking for images that might be related to a specific search. After alt text, we want to talk about reducing your site plugins. So guys, some of the other things that you'll see with a web browser like WordPress, look, all of these are plugins. That way we are able to add specific features. For example, we have, let me go to my actual website. So you can see here we have plugins on our website like this widget right here, which is a floating social icon bar. We have our messenger button over here. These are all widgets and applications or plugins that are on our site that literally just add a snippet of code into the site. You want to reduce the amount of those plugins because it does slow down the performance of your actual site. Another thing that is huge is removing duplicate pages. Okay, so you can actually have something like Google Search Engine, Google Search Console. I recommend getting into Google Search Console. And this will actually tell you any errors or issues that your site might be having. So you can go over to the overview page and it'll tell you where you'll have coverage issues, enhancement issues that you need to make any adjustments to, right? So it's actually a really great tool for telling where you're having duplicate content pages or anything like that. You never want to have a page. That's why we were telling you earlier, when you're running your actual or creating your sitemap, you don't want to have two pages that are about the exact same topic, and you don't want to have two pages that are about or that use the exact same primary keyword. Okay, that's just bad practice because Google doesn't know which page to rank over the other. And if they're both about the same, they're both on your website, both of them are going to get negatively penalized. So a few more things on the actual site side of things. Definitely making sure you have categories set up properly. So if you have content and you're indexing your content so that way people can search for it later or search via a category, make sure that you're setting up your categories properly. You want to put a featured image in for any content that might be a blog article and have a heading image. Make sure that that image uses keywords related to the article in the file name, right? That is super important. Plus, obviously, your alt text. Last thing that I want to mention is get a tool like Yoast SEO. If you have or are using WordPress, make sure you're using Yoast SEO. And what it's going to do is allow you to quickly enter in your focus keyword phrase, your synonyms like you can see here. And don't pay attention to like if it gives you things down here, you're always going to have some form of issue with your Yoast SEO plugin. It'll always tell you something's wrong. Don't stress over one or two small things being done. If it's a big issue, obviously make sure that that gets taken care of. But overall, you just want to make sure that you set up your focus key phrase, your synonyms. You'll set up your custom snippet right here. This is how you'll appear in search engines or in search engine results when somebody finds this search result when they type in a keyword phrase. And then you can look at things like your readability analysis, and what it tells you is you'll see consecutive phrases, meaning you'll see the same phrasing used more than, once or twice. So that's what I'm saying. Not all of these things need to be adjusted, but you can if you need to. But as far as the website goes, as far as the content on a page is concerned, that's pretty much all you need to know. The last thing I would say is keyword density, making sure that when you have a keyword like how to run an effective marketing campaign, or basically this would be our primary keyword set right here. We want to use this specific keyword a minimum of 1% of the total keywords in the article. So meaning if we have 1,000 keywords in the article, we want to use this keyword or key phrase a minimum of 10 times throughout the content. And that's going to make sure that we're basically using it enough for Google to recognize that it is about this specific topic, okay? Another tool that you guys are going to want to look at as far as making sure your website is performing to the best of its ability is something called Page Speed Insights by Google. You can actually just type in your URL for free, and they're going to give you everything that is wrong with your page as far as its performance from a speed perspective. How quickly things are loading, how quickly things are rendering. Definitely a tool you guys will want to use. You can actually just take this data right here, send it over to your web designer or developer, and they're going to be able to make the adjustments for you. Now, as far as mobile optimization is concerned, you definitely want to make sure it's optimized, right? We all know that mobile is super important in today's day and age, and that's why you can actually go in right here and just make sure that everything looks good. The biggest thing is making sure that your copy is large enough, that buttons are large enough and not a pain in the butt. One thing we're working on is actually, if you click this bar right here, we've made these buttons larger so that way when people are on phones, they can click them easier. But when we first started, they were actually only about half the size of what they currently are. So it made it difficult for people to click those buttons, which is going to make that user experience go down, right? So we made some adjustments so that way it was easier for people to click buttons, easier for people to read content, right? Our buttons are large enough. Everything that you do on your mobile site is going to be just as important. So make sure that you take some time to go through each of your pages, make sure that it all looks right and functions properly. Now, just to quickly recap some of the tools that we mentioned, guys, I want to talk about, obviously, SERPstat for all kinds of search engine research, for keyword research, for URL analysis, competitive analysis, all types of stuff. I definitely recommend getting SERPstat. Again, the link will be right below this video. Page Speed Insights, super big. I recommend looking into Keyword Planner if you guys haven't used this before. Keyword Planner is a great tool for basically doing keyword research, figuring out competition, competitive analysis, all of that as well, right? And then you have other tools like Ubersuggest. If you want to look into Ubersuggest, I recommend looking into Search Console because you're going to need this. If any of your clients have a website that's already established, Search Console is easy to get access to. Okay, you just need to set it up. All right, and now look, we can see what keywords we're ranking for, how many impressions we're getting, how many clicks we're getting, what our click-through rate is for each one, our average position for each one, right? All of this stuff is super important information and tools that you need to be using to be able to determine your strategy properly. So let's wrap this up with talking about off-page or off-site SEO. One of the biggest things you can do, guys, for off-page SEO, especially for local businesses, is figure out how to work out some sort of guest blogging strategy, meaning you're going out to other businesses or you're having your client reach out to other business owners that they know in the local area and start writing blog content together, either about that local area or about, some type of service or, thing that you've done in the local area to get that backlink pointing back to your site from a local business owner's website, and you're doing the same thing for them as well. So it's also beneficial to that client's friend or business associate that they know, so that way both business websites can actually begin to rank higher in search results because you're building those quality backlinks. But not only that, guys, guest blogging actually gives you a great way to reach out and work with other key or influential people in the business world, all right? And that's just something you want to do. It helps show other people that you're doing more than just trying to sell a product or service. Plus, you're giving information to people that they might have interest in that you might not be able to cover yourself. Another thing that you can do for off-page SEO is using something like YouTube. Guys, YouTube is a great tool for building SEO, especially off-page, because if you can get a ton of traction with video, which not a lot of people are good at, then you're able to build a successful marketing campaign just around your video strategy. So make sure that you're actually building video if you can. Another thing is social bookmarking. So finding social bookmarking sites and actually making sure that you're getting indexed in those sites. A good example of a social bookmarking site would be something like Reddit, right? Just getting involved on Reddit, having someone that actually goes out and engages with the community on Reddit surrounding your industry. And not only social bookmarking, but social media, guys. That is a great way to build off-page SEO because you're actually going to go to things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and you can set up business listings or business profiles on each one of those accounts that are attached or associated with your URL, your address, your phone number, and your business services, products, the owner. All of that information is then indexed from a social media engine or a social media site that goes back to a search engine, which is really, really powerful. Another thing, guys, is your SSL certificate. Now, yes, it is more on site, but it helps when people are coming from off of your site to recognize that it is a safe place to come to. They're not going to get hacked or have their information stolen from them. So make sure you get that SSL certificate. And then finally, something like media. Guys, the public media or the local media is a great way to build off-page SEO. Why? Because those media companies usually have a very strong connection to that local market, and they're probably getting tons of search traffic signals sent to their web or sent to search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo from their website because of the amount of engagement that they get in the local area. So if you can get them to cover your business and then put a link back to your website, it's going to only do wonders for your business in that local area. So I definitely recommend making sure you get something like that done. But guys, that is it for on-page and off-page SEO. Off-page is super simple. On-page is where it gets a lot more technical and takes a lot more time as far as developing your strategy. So question, how do you make SEO work for you? Make sure to check out this playlist up here in the top right-hand corner on the latest SEO tips and tricks for the industry. Local SEO, and local SEO is a big thing, a big factor in ranking a website or web pages in local search results, or really just in Google search results or Bing, Yahoo, whatever search results. So what we want to talk about first when getting into local SEO is local link building. Okay, getting other local websites, businesses, directories, etc. to list your link on their website. And that's actually easier to do than most people think. And the reason why is because all you have to do is talk to the business owner. They know other business owners and have them work out some kind of maybe collaborative deal where y'all create some kind of blog article about the local community or things going on, maybe an event you both attended, something like that, to build links in your local area. There's also other ways that you're able to do it. You can go to Fiverr and actually buy backlinks from people. The issue is they're usually not related to your local area. but you might be able to find some that way. I think the easiest way is just to get other businesses in the local area who also want to rank in search results. So obviously you're not going to go find a business's competitors, but you can find people in the area who also want free exposure, because that's all it is. You're actually saying, okay, we'll put our link on your site, you put our link on your site, and boom, we both are getting a free backlink in a local area to both local businesses. So it's a great way to get exposure. That's one thing that I wanted to mention that a lot of people don't take advantage of that I think most people should. The next thing is setting up your maps and reviews section and your Google My Business listing. So the good thing is you can set all of this up with Google My Business. So you'll just type in Google My Business on Google, set up the account with the business, and you're pretty much ready to go, other than inputting a bunch of information, like adding in photos, adding a profile short name, which actually this is something new that they've created. You can create posts and photos. You can actually run ads from Google My Business Manager. But really, it's all about the profile, right? So we're actually going to go to info, and this is where you'll update all of the info about the business. You'll put in the name of the business, obviously, what the business is about. If you have a location for a business, then you'll put it in here, which most of you will since you're working with local businesses. Your service areas, be specific about this. We actually can do the United States. We could do Canada. We can put in there, Australia. You want to put in as many locations as you possibly can that you actually service. Really, I tried to put in world. They definitely didn't have world as an option, but you guys get what I'm saying. Make sure all the service areas are updated. Make sure that your time of business or your hours of operation are updated always. And they actually have special hours that you can do. So that's where you're like, let's say you're not going to be there for Christmas, right? You actually want those to be set up ahead of time. So that way, when Christmas comes around, if somebody comes to try and stop by your business, they're not showing up there and you're closed, which usually will make some people mad if they take the time to drive out somewhere and then you're closed when they get there, right? So make sure that if your business closes or any of your clients, you ask them, do you guys have any special hours where you are closed, where you would normally be open? Let us know those ahead of time, right? You'll set up the phone number. You'll set up a short name, which I recommend doing. I didn't even know this was an option because it wasn't too long ago. So I'm actually going to set mine up now. And it should accept it. You want to obviously make it related to your brand as much as possible. And boom, we should get that as our short name pretty easily. You'll add in the URL. This is going to be a listing. This is where we're listing your business on Google. You'll set up your services or products, any highlights that you have about your business, your opening date if you feel that's important, and then definitely add photos, all right? For our business, it's less important. We're going to do it, but since we have a national audience for Serial Entrepreneur, photos aren't going to do too much for us unless we start really creating, a bunch of really useful, let's say, infographics. People would definitely engage with those, and we could put those photos there and would help us rank in the images section on Google. But it's more useful really for local businesses because they have smaller audiences and less competition. So most of the time, businesses aren't out there putting up photos that actually do help you rank in search engine results when you include the alt text in the photo from your website, or if you add the file name about that photo and include the keywords. All right, and so you can either close or remove the listing. You can do Google Assistant calls, but all of this is super important because it's going to help you set up your business. Not only that, but you're going to manage any reviews from here. You can do messages from here. There's all kinds of stuff that you're going to be able to do with Google My Business. You'll add in multiple locations right here. It's just a great way to easily manage and update your listing with Google, right? But also it helps you show up in Maps listings, which you definitely want to show up in Maps. It helps you manage your reviews, which are super important. It even shows you small insights about your page, like where some traffic might be coming from, where customers are viewing my business on Google. So you can see listing on search. We do have a listing on Maps, which we're trying to get rid of because forever ago when I set it up, I put up my home address for some reason. Didn't mean to do that. And I don't even live there anymore, so that's the other thing. And then you can see customer actions, phone calls. We don't get phone calls. Photo, although it says we got a phone call last week, I don't remember getting one. Photo views, so you can see we do actually have some photos that are ranking, so people are seeing those photos. And it's just, again, a great way for you to get everything that you need done for your local business listing. So that's the basics. Biggest things: set up your hours, description, product, services, photos, videos, menus, anything else about the business that would be important to a potential customer trying to find information about this business on Google. The next thing that you want to look at is some sort of listing service for your business listings across the internet. A big thing that most people don't know is there are actually about 300 plus different listing sites on the internet. And a listing site can be anything from Google to Facebook to Yelp to white pages, yellow pages. All of those are different types of listing sites that are on the internet. All of those listing sites have a business listing for your business, meaning you can put in the phone number, address, hours, just like we did here with Google My Business. Now, Google My Business is one you want to set up manually because there's a lot more to do with it, and it's the primary search engine. But for all of those other search listings, you don't want to have to go out and find 300 different listing sites and manually update all of those listings. That's going to be a pain in the ass, right? So how do we do that easily and affordably and offer that as a service to our clients that would be cost effective, right? I recommend using a tool called Vendasta. You guys have probably heard me mention this before. They have something called Listing Sync Pro and Listing Distribution. And this is actually how you'll get put across Infogroup, Axiom, Factual, and Newstar, which these are the four major listing site aggregators. They're data aggregators. And they put you across all of the different listing sites that are out there. So it's going to list you across all the big data aggregators plus all of the big listing sites automatically. You create one business listing, it updates all of them at one time. I definitely recommend getting this service. It's, I believe, $500 a month. Oh no, it's $250 a month, and you get up to 1,000 clients on one account. Now they do have to pay for this service individually. It doesn't just automatically give them this service by throwing them in here, but they can pay an extra fee on top of that, plus the monthly management fee, and you've got yourself a good little revenue stream. If you want to see an example of what this looks like, you can see right here, this power listing scam result. This business, which is Cohen Solomon DDS, it's a dentist in Atlanta, has not set up any of their listings. And the ones that they do have set up aren't even the same. So you can see Cohen Solomon DDS. We have the name Drescher and Cohen DDS. So somebody else used to work there. The other thing is you can see the address is completely different. Colony Square, Atlanta. We're now in Peachtree Street. On Peachtree Street, let's see if the number's the same. 404-812-8944. 812-8944. So at least the number's the same, but you can see right here, it's even different here. So they have a bunch of different information listed across the internet. What does that mean as far as a user or a customer standpoint is concerned? What that means is if I'm a user and I go to Google and type in dentist in Atlanta and and Google tries to go to their index full of dentists in Atlanta, their database basically, and pull out dentists in Atlanta to show us, they're not really, Google as a search engine is not sure what information to show us along with any other listing site, because there are so many different listings that have different information or no information at all. The more congruent you can get all of the information for any business across all of these different listing sites, the better chances they have at showing up in search engine results. And when everything becomes consistent, it makes it easier for customers to figure out what number to call or what address to go to or what the actual name of the freaking business is, because it's definitely not Atlanta Dental Spa, right? That is, what's funny is I just finished another video. You guys probably have seen this video at this point. Atlanta Dental Spa is actually one of their competitors. So they definitely don't want to be showing up as Atlanta Dental Spa if that's not their business, right? And you can see here the business that the address that they actually had listed when I went and did a Google search for this business was this address. So they're not even using the right address, because you can see here their Google listing is actually showing this. But the listing I saw, when you go right here, is actually showing a different address. All right, so we want to make sure we're using a service just like this to make sure we're getting the right information for the right business out on the internet. And really, that's all you need to know about listing services. The other thing I want to mention about local SEO and making sure that everything is set up properly is social media sites. Every social media account has the ability for you to set up your business name, your phone number, your address, your website URL, hours of operation, even on some of them, all of that information. So you want to make sure that that information is listed properly across all of your social media sites. Consider a social media site just like a listing site. It's going to host information about your business that other people can find. And as we know, social media does help improve, or at least presence on social media helps you improve your local SEO or SEO efforts in general. All right, so make sure that you are including that. Now, the last thing that I want to mention to you guys about creating strong local SEO strategy is making sure that you're incorporating local keywords into the website. So for example, in your title tags, we mentioned title tags in technical SEO, and your headings and your keywords and descriptions. All of those keywords and descriptions and tags and titles, all of that needs to include your local keywords. If you saw in the website marketing video, we built the sitemap, and I was mentioning all of the different pages with their different locations. That's essentially what we're doing for local SEO. We're making sure that we have a web page built for every location that we service. They don't have to actually be shown on your page. They can be hidden, like I mentioned, but you definitely want to get those pages set up. And not only that, but in the actual content that you're creating, you want to use words and locations that people in your geographical area are likely to use. So if we had a dentist that's in Atlanta, the other thing that I know about Atlanta is there's places in Atlanta that aren't cities. For example, Midtown is not really a city. It's more of an area that people in Atlanta know. So we would actually probably create a business page, or not a business page, but a web page that was only targeting the keywords Midtown, right? Because we want to show up for dentist in Midtown when someone types in that search. So we'll create a web page that just focuses on Midtown area and using that keyword throughout that entire page.
Land a huge client. That's easier said than done. So make sure you check out this video up here that I put together on overcoming objections. You're gonna get these a lot in sales, and you need to know how to get past them.
Guys, really, it's not as complicated as most people try to make it. The biggest thing is really just making sure you're making a profit, right? Making sure that you're not charging too little, so that way you don't make any money at all or break even. All right, so the biggest thing I want to discuss with you guys is understanding a cost plus pricing model, okay? Which is what we're going to talk about primarily in this training. But let's start with what it is. Basically, guys, cost plus pricing is exactly what the title mentions. You take your cost and then you add your price to it, right? Or you take your cost and you add your profit margin really to it, which gives you your price. So it's easily broken down into 3 steps. You have to determine your desired profit margin. Most agencies will make 15 to about 25%. 25% is on the high end. Those are some of the best performing marketing agencies out there. They're scaled to the point where they're able to make the most amount of money possible. You guys will probably start around the 15% range and work your way up from there as you're able to charge more and get more done with less effort. So once we know that our desired profit margin, let's just say for this example, we're going to say our desired profit margin is going to be 20%. Okay? From here, we need to calculate the cost of the service or job. So you'll take into consideration factors like your cost of contractors, your cost of softwares, and any fixed costs that you might have. Plus, if you're not considering anything that you might pay yourself in here, you need to make sure that is included as well. And that's the thing, guys, you have to understand. You can't put your cost or fixed costs into every single service. And you can't even look at a lot of the cost of softwares to be fully inclusive in every service that you provide. Meaning, if I get a client, I can't put, and I pay myself $2,000 a month, just to keep the number simple. If I get a client and I pay myself $2,000 a month, I can't put $2,000 worth of cost into this client's cost to get the job done and expect to make a profit, right? That doesn't make sense. Plus, the next client I take on, technically speaking, my salary would be broken up between both of those clients, where it would be $1,000 per client, right? That's how we would break down the costs. So what you actually have to do is you have to take a piece or a portion of your personal expense and fixed costs that you will include in every bit, basically, of your pricing plan or your cost plan for a client. So what you need to do there is project about how many clients you think you're going to have by the end of your first year, and that's how you'll break up your fixed cost and salary costs, right, for each client. So from there, you just take your profit margin and add it to the total cost of your services. So to make it simple, if your total cost is $1,000 per month for a client, or their campaign is going to cost you $1,000 to complete, and your profit margin is 20%, then you need to charge at least $1,200 to make a profit, okay? And that's only a $200 profit. And that's the thing. People say the average profit margin for agency owners is 15 to 20%, but it depends on the service really that you're providing, because content creation actually has a much higher profit margin because you don't actually have to pay that much to get content created at a really great level of quality, and you can actually pay a really, really cheap amount to get that done. But you can charge a lot for really great content or really great video, right? So it kind of depends. You need to look at it and make a judgment call. If you're doing social media management and some SEO right here for $1,000 a month and it's going to cost you $1,000, I would probably recommend charging at least $2,000. Again, this is really just a gauge for you to be able to make sure that you're at least generating a profit. So if you had to get a client and they weren't willing to pay anything more than that $1,200, at least you're still making a profit. But if you can try and increase that profit margin by making it, a 100% profit margin, where you're going to charge, if it costs us $1,000, we're going to charge $2,000. That is definitely doable, but again, it's harder to sell that, right? So just know, the reason you need to know is to know what your wiggle room is for your potential client. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at a bunch of the different services you might provide and how much jobs would cost, plus what services or contractors you might need to hire for each job. So we went over cost plus pricing model. The most important aspect really to determining your price in the beginning is your cost. Again, because you're trying to make more money than what you spend. So your jobs required for social media management. All right, we're just talking about posting to the page, creating a content calendar, managing it, all of that. You might have strategy and planning, a copywriter, designer, proofing, scheduling, and community management, which is someone who responds to comments and messages. And then here are the associated costs with each one of those. I'm not going to go through them. You can read them yourself. What you need to understand is the low range is going to be a lower quality of work. Higher range is going to be a higher quality of work, right? Or it doesn't always mean that. Let me back up, because what it actually could mean as well is maybe you're paying for someone outside of your country. Like, for example, if you're in the US, you can find a lot of countries, like, for example, if you need a good video editor, there are tons of them in like Eastern Europe, in like Ukraine and Slovenia and all those places. Why? They're just a cheaper cost of living. Thus, I can get a really high quality service at a really affordable rate, right? And so that's what we're talking about, guys, really understanding where your cost is going to come from and what type of profit margin you can charge. Because if I can get a graphic designer or a video editor in Ukraine for $15 an hour, but in the US, the average rate is about $45 to $65 an hour, I'm making almost 200% profit margin on that specific service, right? So that's where, again, it really takes you looking at what you're being charged and what you're able to charge your client to determine your pricing. Social media ads management pricing, jobs required, strategy and planning, ads manager, analytics and reporting, a copywriter and a designer or a video editor, all right? And here are your price ranges for those. Your ad manager, I do want to go through really quickly. It's usually done at a flat rate or a percentage of ad spend. Usually if it's at a lower end of a budget, then it's going to be a flat rate fee, right? And so you can actually see here, this is what we are looking at for this is what we recommend charging for different ad spend. So if you have $1,000 to $7,999, I recommend charging a management fee of this. All right, so the first one is the management fee. The second one is how much ad spend they are spending, just so you guys can get an idea. And then I would say anywhere from 10 upwards of 15%, 10 to 15% for anything over $25,000. Know that if you're going to charge 15%, you better be one of the best ad agencies out there to charge that much, especially when they're spending over $25,000. Analytics and reporting, copywriter and designer, here are your rates as well. We have web design and pricing, so here are your jobs required. You have strategy, planning, designer, developer, for your front end, which is CSS, developer for your back end, which is the HTML or the logic coding. Then you have your copywriter, all right? Hourly price range, strategy and planning right here, boom. Designer, front-end developer, back-end developer, copywriter, all right? Email marketing and pricing. Your jobs required could be strategy and planning, which is, you guys are starting to notice, probably a little theme here. You have copywriter, designer, email manager, and analytics manager. Hourly pricing, boom, right there. All right, next, PPC pricing. Jobs required, strategy, copywriting, ad manager, analytics manager, right? Because PPC, we're not actually creating anything other than words on Google, unless you're doing YouTube, which you can refer back up to your social media ads planning and strategy. Hourly pricing, boom. Strategy, boom. The ads manager is going to be the same, like I mentioned, as social media marketing and ads. Your SEO pricing, your jobs required, strategy and planning, SEO manager for off-page, on-page, and local SEO. Your listing management service. Usually, I would recommend using a third-party service. Your copywriter and your analytics and reporting. Jobs, all listed right here because I'm a badass. Plus, if you use Vendasta, it's actually, I believe, $250 per month for one user, and that gets you 1,000 clients that you can put on that one service for $250 a month. Content marketing pricing, jobs required, strategy planning, blog article writing, videographer, podcast building, all of that, right? And then if you need anything else, for example, if you have a videographer, but you need an editor for this, you can go back up to where we mentioned editing before, or a designer before, and you can get the pricing there. But guys, these are all the price costs about how much it will cost you. Again, remember the lower range is for cheaper people. The higher range is for people that are a little more expensive. I would recommend in the beginning trying to find as cheap as you can for as good of quality as you can, right? You're not going to be able to get the best quality people, but you can get great quality at an affordable rate. So that is it for this video on pricing, guys. If you have any questions, again, make sure to leave any of your questions on pricing below in the comments section.
Want more instructional content or the full-on training program like you've seen here, but way more in depth? We actually have 150 videos, documents, quizzes for all of the trainings. Everything that you need to start your agency and beyond is in this program. So make sure to go over to serialentrepreneur.academy or check out this link up here in the top right-hand corner, and it'll take you right to our program.
In this one, we're going to talk about a bunch of our different methods to landing clients for your agency. Now, we're not going to be able to go through everything. I think we have like 15 lessons inside the course just on selling and landing clients. It's a lot. It might not be 15, but it is a lot. And so I won't be able to cover everything that we have inside the digital marketing school, but I'm going to go through quickly a bunch of these different types of methods that you can use to land clients for your agency, along with some of the processes that we use and some of the documents that we have that we will share with you guys to help you land your clients. Biggest thing, guys, I want to talk about is networking. If you guys have ever watched anything that I do, then you know that I'm all about networking. I have tons of students that actually have messaged me already about them and their ability to go out and go to meetings like at a BNI group or a meetup or Chamber of Commerce and get clients in the first month or 2 months just from them taking on this approach instead of trying to do the cold calling, cold emailing, and cold networking approach. The cool thing is if you join the program that we have, DMS 2.0, I actually have my buddy Rob Quinn who's creating a bunch of sales videos for our program, and he talks more about the cold calling, cold emailing, because that's what he likes to do and has made a really great system for it. The key to understanding landing clients is really just getting the fact that the more you know about the services you're trying to provide and the more confident you can be in delivering that information to a potential client, the better off you are in landing that client. The issue or the biggest reason why I see most people don't have success in landing clients is for a few reasons. Number one, they don't know the information. So when they go into the client, they fail at delivering a proper presentation, and that potential client loses any trust that they had in that person's ability to produce results. That is going to kill you every single time. Confidence in the meeting itself is going to be another factor. You get confidence from understanding the services that you're going to provide. The more confident you feel in explaining those services, the more confident you're going to feel in the meeting. So make sure that you understand that. A big issue that people have is they go out and they take these programs, they go through the program in a month, and then what happens is they try to go out and land clients and they don't really understand what they're supposed to be trying to do. So really spend time understanding the core concepts that I mentioned, SWEPs, understanding what's important to a customer and how to deliver that information easy enough for them to understand, but also be able to trust you to do that job for them. So guys, let's talk about methods for networking really quick. It's super simple, guys. Find groups where people are there with the same interest that you have, which is growing their business, whether it's an agency or not. So I recommend BNI. BNI is Business Network International. This is one of my favorite networking groups. Yes, they do have a cost associated with it, but the entire purpose of this group is to bring in leads. Every single week, these guys meet up once a week, they have a meeting, and they go in, they talk about some accomplishments they've had, they talk about their business and what they can do for others. They meet and network with other business owners in the area. And finally, what they do is at the end of every meeting, they do a lead swap off. So they are required to bring leads to meetings as often as possible. That way they can give those leads off to other people who provide services that might be looking for potential clients, which is pretty much everyone in a BNI. This service alone, I've had probably 20 people reach out to me and say, Jordan, I started using this network and it was able to land me, 5 clients, 10 clients, 3 clients, 1 client. Even 1 client will pay for your membership to this business networking opportunity. So I recommend BNI. The other obvious one is your Chamber of Commerce in your local area, guys. These are just business owners that are looking to network and meet other business owners in the area that they could potentially help or give leads to as well. Meetups are another great way to find local people in your area meeting up for specific things. You could find people who are trying to actually learn social media. This is actually a great way to start your own meetup and do a social media marketing training. Get really good at something like Facebook marketing and ads. You build a presentation, you go deliver it to local business owners, and then actually have them contact you to sign them up as clients later. Or just go to one of the meetups that are already on there and start networking with people. Another great way is to go on Facebook and find other networking opportunities in the area. So for example, I actually have my salespeople going to this free networking lunch that's in Cherokee County, which is close to where we live. So all I can do is I can go on Facebook, find a bunch of free luncheons, free networking meetups that people have on Facebook, and go ahead and send my sales reps off to those meetings every single week. So again, guys, networking is easily my favorite way to do this. It really just takes you having the ability to get out of that comfort zone of needing to sit inside an office and call someone, and get out there and just be willing to talk to people and build relationships. The biggest thing I can say is focus on giving them a relationship and providing value instead of trying to get something from them. So you can see Luncheons. Obviously, another one, we actually just moved into our new office. What we're doing is we have 6 office buildings in this complex with probably, I'd say, at least 50 businesses in this entire complex. We're going to host a lunch here in about a month. We're going to go out and buy, sandwiches or wings or something like that, pizza, and we're going to host a free luncheon for everyone in this office park to come by our office, get to meet us. We'll have a presentation going of what we do, and just get to know everyone. That alone is going to generate business for us. If you don't have an office, you can go to an office park where there's, let's just say 15 offices like I did just now, and offer to buy lunch for the entire office complex. Say, hey, I'm hosting a meeting, and we'll have a 15-minute training session on social media marketing, plus lunch is provided by whatever agency you are, right? Cold calling, obviously a great method, as well as cold emailing and cold messaging or walking in. The biggest thing I want to talk to you guys about here, guys, is understanding how much of it you really need to do. What I mean by that is I get tons of people who reach out and they say, Jordan, I called 15 businesses and none of them wanted it. You need to be calling about 50 to 100 businesses a day for cold emailing, cold messaging, cold calling to actually work for you. What you have to understand about any of these cold lead generation activities is the fact that your conversion ratio is super, super low, like 1%, right? 2%. And when you get really good at it, you can get your conversion ratio up to 5, 10%. But you have to imagine, okay, if I go and call 100 businesses and I'm just starting where, my conversion ratio is probably going to be 1 to 2% because I'm new to this, I'm probably only going to get 1 to 2 meetings out of 100 calls. That doesn't mean they're even clients yet, right? So understand what's really required for you to do cold networking or cold lead generation or cold outreach for you to land clients versus networking where you have a higher conversion ratio, but it does take a lot more of your personal time. So understand the trade-offs there. LinkedIn as well is a great platform. You've probably heard of things like Duck Soup and other automated ways on LinkedIn to start reaching out to business owners. I definitely recommend trying to figure that out, or setting up some kind of marketing campaign on LinkedIn where you're marketing to local business owners in your area. And then that's why we lead into running an ad campaign. You guys are learning how to run social media marketing campaigns, ad campaigns, search engine content, and how to create content for your website. So why not trying to build a lead gen system of your own, and instead of actually going out and calling all of these people, you spend a little bit of budget on cold traffic ads, driving people through a funnel, which then eventually gets them to call your business, right? So those are some ways that I recommend starting off. Now let's talk about the 5-step process to landing clients. And I actually have a full video on this specific topic on my YouTube channel. So we'll leave a link for that right below this video. Just make sure you go and visit that video, but we're going to cover it quickly right here. Basically, all you need to know is there's 5 steps to landing a client. You need to first qualify businesses. This is where people mess up a ton. Why? Because they actually go to a website or go to Google, they find a business, and they don't do any information research before they actually reach out to this business. What I've seen happen a lot, for example, somebody will go and call a local restaurant in the area. Let's just say it's a local pizza shop, and that local pizza shop only has that one location. They're only a year old. The chances that that business is going to be able to afford your services are slim to none. Why? Because restaurants don't make a huge profit margin. Pizza shops especially don't have a huge profit margin, because you have to think about it. One person comes in, they order a pizza, that's going to feed that person probably 2-3 times if they're not overeating, right? Let's say a family of 5 comes in, they can order 1 extra large pizza, and if it's, the really big pies, then they can probably feed that entire family on $25 instead of, your average restaurant where you're making $10 to $15 per customer, right? So that would be a $50 to $80 tab versus a $25 to $40 tab, right? So there's a big issue there with trying to understand that client is not going to be able to afford your services. So you didn't do enough qualification. You don't understand the industry or the customer enough to really make sure that you should not spend any time trying to get them as a client. So qualifying businesses, that's the first thing. Really make sure that you go online, you understand businesses, you understand what you're looking for as far as their profit margin, how much revenue they're doing, how many locations they might need to have before you even try to reach out to them. After you qualify businesses, this is when you create some sort of value offer for them, and then reach out to them with that value offer and give them that value, right? You're trying to make contact, reach the decision maker, and deliver that value to them as quickly as possible. Once you deliver that information, then you're just going to set up your first meeting with that client, right? You deliver an audit, or you get in contact with them in some way where maybe you offer to buy them lunch and they agree to it. Cool. When can we have our first meeting? That's when you're going to set up your information meeting. And in the information meeting, you're doing the following. You are trying to figure out as much information about that business as possible, which we'll talk about this list of questions right down here in just a second. And you're trying to let them know, okay, well, this is what we do from a service provider perspective. You try to avoid talking about price at all. And all you're trying to do is focus on providing value to that person and showing them and exemplifying to them that you know what you're talking about and can get them the results that you've promised them. So in that first meeting, you're going to ask a ton of questions. Then you go back to your office and you actually start to create your proposal. You're going to figure out your pricing, your services that you're going to provide, as well as anything else that might be relevant for the proposal, and create that, and then go deliver the proposal in the second meeting, right? So you create your proposal, then you present your proposal and close the potential client. This is the 5th step. Now, there can be a 6th step. Say that the client, you go and you pitch the proposal to them and you messed up because you didn't include, 2 different types of packages or pricing for that client in case they couldn't afford the more expensive package. So all they saw was the expensive package and told you, well, we can't afford that. We could definitely do something a little more cheap, but we can't afford that. So instead, since you didn't provide the second package option, which you should, you might have to go back to your office, revise the proposal, and then come back another time. So basically, instead of proposal and close, it's proposal, set next meeting, which would be your 3rd meeting, and then try to close in that meeting. And basically, you go back and forth until you finally close that client. So that's the 5-step process, guys. Again, we go much more in depth in our YouTube video, so make sure to click the link right below this video and check that out if you want to see that video later on. Or you can just go to our YouTube channel and type in 5-step process to landing clients by Serial Entrepreneur, and you should be able to find it that way. Next is focus on the solution and not the service, guys. Too many people go into a business or into a client or potential client, and instead of sitting there and focusing on the things that they need help with and what they're trying to accomplish, people come in and they instantly try to focus on selling services or selling products, when really that's backwards. The biggest thing is you need to find out, okay, Mr. Business Owner, why are you trying to get a marketing agency? Is it because you're trying to increase sales? Right? Okay, cool. You're trying to increase sales. Why do you want to increase sales? Is it because you're trying to hire someone else in your office so you can spend more time at home? Or maybe it's just because you're trying to add to that retirement plan that you've got going. What's the real reason, right? When you find that real reason, use that reason against them. So that way when they object and say, well, man, that sounds expensive, I just don't know if that's what we're going to be able to do. I totally understand, Mr. Business Owner, but like you told me in the beginning, you want to hire someone else in this office, right? That's going to help you grow and help you build that business to the level you want to get it to. But to do that, we have to generate more revenue. If we're not generating more revenue, you know that very well that we can't hire someone else, right? So to generate that revenue, we have to have a solid campaign that's really going to produce results, not one that, will produce results 8 months down the road when we finally got things figured out and working, right? With this budget, that is what we're able to do. So biggest thing right here, guys, is focusing on the solution and providing value and building the relationship with that person instead of trying to sell them a service or focusing on that service as the only solution to the problem. And then finally, questions to ask in the first meeting, since I told you guys we would go over this. Let me open this up real quick here. Okay, so this is an article by HubSpot, guys. The key is to get as much information about their business and their goals as possible while trying to also determine what it is that they want out of their life, right? So example, client wants to generate more revenue. Why? Because they want to hire an office manager. But why? Because they want to spend more time at home with their friends, with their family, right, with their kids, whatever it may be. So this list of questions is 90 questions long. It's meant for marketing agencies, And it helps you really get and narrow down the questions that you're going to want to ask to a potential client. Now, guys, you don't need all 90 questions, and please do not go into a business and just sit there with 90 questions and ask them off and write down answers one after the other, because you will lose that client so quickly. But use it as a guide to make sure that you're going in there with the right mindset and the right questions at hand. That way, if you don't get something out of them, because that's the thing, you should be able to answer most of these questions through general conversation. You want it to feel like a conversation and not a questionnaire, right? So try to get as many questions as you can, but then make sure that you know which ones are your most important questions that you need to have to go back and build a solid proposal. Once you have that down, then you're ready to go. You're ready to build the proposal that's actually going to sell itself, because you know you're in the right price range with the right service selected. Let me start with the fact that everybody wants to run an agency, but we're all trying to achieve this goal of not having to work as much as people who work 9-to-5 jobs, right? So to do that, you have to understand that it's going to require several people for this to be able to happen. You can't manage everything that needs to be managed by yourself. And just to be honest, you really shouldn't, because you're not going to be able to become an expert at every single aspect of digital marketing, right? It's just not possible. So that's why you have to have the team. Number one, because you can't become an expert. Number two, because if you want to grow to 6 figures, 7 figures, or beyond, you cannot do it all yourself. It is impossible. So you need a team. That's why. When should you start building your team? Another big question that people ask. I recommend immediately. As soon as you get your first client, you should be trying to outsource as much of that job as you can that makes sense, right? And the reason why is because it's going to leave you with more time to focus on making sure you provide a quality product and going out at the same time to land more clients for your agency so you're able to keep growing, right? So building a team is important. But what positions do you need to hire for? Well, we've actually made a list for you here. I'm not going to go through, in detail every single thing of the list, but we made a list of all of the positions you would want to hire, plus what they would actually be able to do for you, right? So let's go through that quickly. We have the designer, pretty straightforward. They're going to edit video for you, and they can edit and create images and graphics. You have a videographer, a photographer, pretty straightforward what this person's going to do, right? You're a copywriter who writes sales copy, general copy, or they write scripts or social posts, right? You have your marketing strategist. This person is all about campaign planning, creating ad flows or campaign maps, creating your content strategy, email maps, messenger flows. All of that is done with the marketing strategist. This is someone who has a general idea or a general understanding of all digital marketing concepts, right? They need to be well-rounded with everything. They don't need to be experts at everything, but they do need to be well-rounded. Your creative director. This person who is someone that we have on our team who does social content planning, and basically they work with the marketing strategist to make their job a little bit easier. You have a blog writer. Pretty straightforward what this person does as well. You have your SEO manager. You can have different ones, really. You can have someone who does on-page, off-page, local, keyword strategy, and content strategy, right? You might need a couple of people to do these jobs right here. You have ads managers, and these are for search engine ads, which are Google, YouTube, Bing, Yahoo. And then you have social ad campaigns, right? Facebook, Instagram, things like that. You have an analytics manager. Under analytics, you can have several different positions as well. You can have the analytics manager who manages the team. You can have someone who looks at analysis and really just reads through the data to make predictions or determinations about what's happening with the campaigns. You have your email manager, someone for automation management, and someone to manage your lists and contacts, right? Messenger manager, right? Somebody who actually manages your Facebook Messenger platform, like ManyChat, something like that. You have content proofing, someone who's going to read through articles or content and make sure that it lines up with a video, or make sure that there are no errors or issues with a video. You have someone who schedules your content. Account management and sales. These people do client acquisition and client management. Not only are they getting clients for you, but they're actually managing the relationship, delivering the reports to them, making sure that they're happy. An office admin, pretty straightforward what this person would do. Your operations manager, which is going to work on things like process management, workflows, SOPs, things like that. You have your community manager, which is someone who responds to messages or comments, things of that nature. And then you have your public relations agency or officer, and this is someone who works with media outlets or people who create news content or news type of content for a website or online publication that you can get to basically promote your client's business on their platform. right? So those are all the big positions you're going to need, and it really doesn't get much more complicated than that. So now let's look at a little bit of the processes or software that we actually use at our agency. So guys, what we first started off using was a platform called Asana, and we've actually completely transitioned, like I mentioned before. And unfortunately, I don't have all of my old calendars, but the good thing is the processes don't really change too much. It's just this is the software I'm going to show you in a minute is better for making those processes happen because it's based in conditional logic. But when you first start, you can easily use Asana just to build out all of the processes and tasks and projects that you have to create for content you make, blog articles, ad campaigns that you're going to make, anything like that. You can see we still use Asana for a planning portion of our campaigns. And then what we actually do is we take all this information and translate it over to a platform called Process Street, which we're actually transitioning into a platform called CoSchedule here in the next year. But basically, the processes have stayed the same. We've made adjustments to make them work better and to make better content and quality ads, but that's really about it. So what we do is we start with our planning here, and what we do is we have someone come in and put down a base idea. Is it going to be a post? What platform we're going to put it on? Another thing is there creative where I'm involved, which is either a yes or no statement, and then we put in some conversation down here to discuss what we want to actually happen in the post, right? But if you needed to, what you can do is you could actually create your entire post in here. All you'd want to do is you'll open, or you can create an entire project in here. So I'll come in and we'll create on the 21st, we'll do a new task. And what we can do is we'll say, Facebook post. So we'll make a task called Facebook post. And then what we can actually come in here and do is we'll type in the description. So post for doctor client about teeth cleaning. Actually, that would be a dentist, but there's a doctor too, right? Teeth cleaning, right? We'll select Facebook. It's a post to our Facebook page. Then and by the way, you have to actually add these in. This doesn't just come up here. You can add templates on each one of your task descriptions. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a subtask, right? So the first thing we're going to do is post planning, right? And then we'll assign whoever our post planner is. We'll put a due date, and we can leave any comments for that person. Then we're going to do our next task. Post planning, we'll do planning review, right? After planning review, we're going to do copy, first draft for the post, creative, first draft. We'll do a copy review, creative review, make sure everything looks good, there's no spelling errors, things like that. Then we'll do a copy first revision, or copy, we can even just do copy revision, creative revision, quality assessment. And that's basically to make sure everything is right for the post, the posting date, all of that. Actually, what we would do is before the quality assessment, we're going to do scheduling. Then once it's scheduled, we can do a quality assessment, make sure it's posted on the right day, the right time, the right content, the right creative image is used, or we basically need to make sure that all of that information is correct. Again, you'll assign all of your due dates over here, you'll assign all of your task or managers over here, and then once you're actually done here, you'll assign all the people, you'll put in the due dates, and then boom, your task is getting kicked off and everything is getting created, right? So that's how you'll do it in the beginning. Unfortunately, it does take a lot more manual labor. You might have to hire someone to create tasks inside of Asana and just manage that process because, again, it is time consuming. It's not hard. You don't need to hire someone super expensive because once you get the setup done, it's the same thing every time. They just have to go in and manually create these tasks. And the cool thing is you can create templates for them. If you know you have one that you do regularly, you can create templates and it makes the whole process a lot easier. And then what you want to do is once you actually scale to the point where your agency is doing really, really well, then you're going to get a platform like this. Hold on, let me bring it over here. Called Process Street. And what this does is makes it to where you don't have to manually create all these processes anymore. You create templates and then you assign people to tasks and it automatically kicks things off based on a specific logic flow or a conditional logic flow, meaning if this happens, then this will happen, right? So you can see here, this is for a social post. We select, is there audio, video, image, any creative instructions that I might need, then it kicks it off to post prep. Then what we do is we get all of this information down here, post copy, copy instructions, posting instructions, any other further instructions that we might need. Then we get our approval process, right? We need to actually approve everything that we're doing. Then I'll shoot the creative. The creative gets edited, then the copy is made. Once all of that's done, then everything gets reviewed together, and then it's posted on all of the individual platforms, right? So guys, some last things that I want to mention for this lesson are going to be these tools that you see below. These are all tools that we use to help us manage our team and get it done effectively. So we have Asana, which we mentioned, or you can use Trello. We prefer Asana. Slack for communication, definitely use Slack. Don't try to communicate inside of apps like Asana because people end up missing things. Just take my word for that. You have Google Drive, Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. All of that is super important for storing data and information, creating documents, things like that. Toggle for tracking time. FreeUp, I definitely recommend. We have an affiliate link below. If you use that link, you'll get your first $50 in outsourcing or hiring a VA for free. So make sure you check out FreeUp, Upwork for any other positions that you can't find maybe with FreeUp, and then LastPass to remember all passwords for accounts. That way you don't have to worry about actually giving passwords to people on your team, right? But that is it for this training, guys, and that's pretty much what you'll want to know about outsourcing or building processes for your team. The biggest thing that you need to understand is that you have to do it instantly, like as soon as you freaking can, because it's going to help your agency scale that much faster.
All right, everybody, that is it for part 2. So if you're the rebel that you are and watched part 2 before part 1, then make sure to head back over and check out part 1 of our SMMA series. All you have to do is click on this link up here in the top right-hand corner. Now, I promised something at the beginning of this video for everybody who stuck around till the end. So if you go on over to that link that we just talked about, all you have to do is enter in 100 off 100, the text that you see on the screen, into the coupon code box, and that will get you $100 off the program when you buy today. So if you're wanting to take your agency to the next level, or if you're wanting to get that business launched in 2020 or in the next upcoming years, then make sure you start now by clicking on that link and entering that coupon code in, and we will see you in the program. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this 2-part series. Make sure to leave us a comment below if there's any other questions or things that you feel that we didn't cover, and we'll get those answered for you as soon as possible. But I'm gonna get out of here. Until next time, Serial Entrepreneur out. Bye, guys.
Ready to start living the 6-figure work wherever, be your own boss lifestyle? Well, at Serial Entrepreneur Academy, we'll teach you how to use a laptop and internet to start your own social media and digital marketing agency. Get started with our free Facebook ads training. Links in the description below, guys. See you in the course. Serial Entrepreneur out.